right. The next act is a little interesting. Now, yesterday we had a dress rehearsal of all of the acts, except two. And this is one of them, Rindercella. I have not a clue what it's about. I don't know whether it's good, bad, indifferent, or what's going to go on, and I have no idea how to introduce it. So here it is. You people come up with your own conclusion. Rindercella. Oh, hi, Joe. Good morning. How are you? Not too bad. Came for a good haircut. So you know where I can get one? Yeah, right here. Yeah.
Same magazine you had here when I came here 12 years ago. There you go. Oh, by the way, Joe wants to know if anybody would like some 50-50 tickets.
Now stop that.
Jim, you know that youngest girl of mine? Oh, Trina, the 5-year-old. Well, she'll be 5 years old in April if I allow it. You know, I can't get her to go to sleep at night for nothing. I can't get the comb out of my pocket. Well, you just have to tell her some bedtime stories. Well, she'll sit up half the night, and I've told her every bedtime story I know, you know, and nothing works. Yeah, but you can't tell them the same old stories that you and I used to enjoy. You have to say it backwards, you know, so you get the kids' attention. Backwards? Well, yeah, backwards. Like, for example, instead of Cinderella, it'd be Rindercella. Oh, man, you've tried all of those, haven't you? Here, Joe. All right, we'll try it. Well, here, I'll give you an example. Okay. And if you can memorize this, then you can take it home to Trina and you can try it on her and see if it works. All right. Okay. Once upon a time in a corn country, there was this beautiful girl, and her name was Rindercella. Now, Rindercella, she lived with her muggly other and her 2 sad blisters. And in this corn country, there was a very pransome hince. And this pransome hince was going to have a fancy fall. And he invited people from miles and miles, especially the pitch people. That's the only kind to invite. Well, Rindercella's muggly other and her 2 sad blisters, they went to buy some drancy fesses to wear to this fancy fall. But Rindercella, she couldn't go because all she had to wear was some old ruddy dags. And finally, the night of the fancy fall arrived, and Rindercella couldn't go, so she just sat down and scried. She sat down and scried? She sat down and scried. Now, she was sitting there scrying, when all of a sudden, her Gary Godmother appeared. And she touched her with her magic man, and there appeared before her a sigboach and Hicks white sources to take her to the fancy fall. But now she said to Rindercella, "You must be home before midnight, or I'll turn you into a pumpkin." When Rindercella, just a second, I missed something here. When Rindercella arrived at the fancy fall, the pransome hince met her at the door because he'd been watching behind a wooden window. And Rindercella and the pransome hince danced all night until midnight, and they lell and fav. clock struck night. And Rindercella staced down the rears. And just as she beached the rottum, she slopped her dripper. She slopped her dripper? She slopped her dripper, that's right. Now, the next day, the Pransome Hints went all over the corn country looking for this beautiful girl who had slopped her dripper. Finally, he came to Rindercella's house, and he tried it on Rindercella's muggly other, and it didn't did. Then he tried it on her two sisty ugglers, and it didn't did. And then he tried it on Rindercella, and it fit did. It was exactly the sight rise. So they were married and lived happily ever afterwards. Now, the story of the Maury is this. If you ever go to a bouncy fall and want to have a Pransome Hints loll and fun with you, don't forget to slop your dripper.